Here's a quick, no-nonsense tutorial on how to install a bidet, plus a challenge you may run into along the way. Step 1. Buy your bidet. There are a lot of choices, but I kept it simple. I found a well-reviewed, affordable option on Amazon and rolled with it. Worst case, if it didn't fit or I didn't like it, returns are easy. For this install, I'm using the Luxe Neo 120. Next, we'll unbox our new purchase. In the box, we get the bidet water line and 2 plastic wrenches, some plumber's tape, the water line T-adapter, and the new 120 bidet attachment with its 2 circular adjustment plates, and also the owner's manual. The next step is to remove the toilet seat. Most toilet seats are fastened the same way. Start by popping open the small caps at the back, then use a flathead screwdriver to loosen the plastic bolts. You may need to reach underneath to hold the nut in place while you unscrew it. Once the nut is off, the bolt will slide right out. Repeat this on the other side and the toilet seat should lift off easily. The next step is to position the bidet attachment and reinstall the seat. This step is all about alignment. The adjustment plates can be rotated to match different bolt spacings. In my case, aligning them slightly on a diagonal lined everything up perfectly. This is where I ran into a common issue, and it's actually the first thing mentioned in the troubleshooting section of the instructions. And I've also seen a lot of Reddit posts from people having similar problems. If your toilet seat has certain hinges or a curved underside, this attachment may not work properly. My seat has a curved bottom, which prevents it from closing all the way once the bidet is installed. Unfortunately, the only real fix to this is to replace the toilet seat with one that has a flat bottom. I've seen some posts where people have added rubber washers and larger bump stops to the seat, but the best fix, in my opinion, is just get a new seat. Thankfully, my other bathroom has a toilet with a seat that works with this bidet. I removed the seat like I showed earlier, positioned the bidet, and reinstalled it using the plastic mounting bolts. As you can see, the flat bottom seat gives us a much better fit. The gap isn't perfect, but the seat closes all the way and functions exactly as it should. The next thing to do is disconnect the water supply hose. Start by turning the shutoff valve clockwise to turn the water off. Once that's done, flush the toilet to drain most of the water from the tank. If you look underneath the tank, you'll see 2 nuts. The top nut connects the flush valve. Leave this alone. Removing it would drain the remaining water from the tank, and we don't want to do that. Instead, focus on the bottom nut, which connects the water supply hose. Turn counterclockwise to loosen and remove it. Be sure to place a towel or a small bowl underneath to catch any water that's left in the hose after shutting off the supply. Next, we'll check and install the T-adapter that came with the bidet. At the top of the T-adapter, there should be a black rubber washer. Make sure it's in place. If it fell out into the packaging, be sure to reinstall it. This washer is critical for creating a watertight seal. To install the T-adapter, connect the top of the adapter to the toilet tank and the bottom to the water supply hose. Before tightening everything down, make sure the bidet outlet on the adapter is facing toward the bidet's connection point. Next, it's time to connect the hose to the T-adapter and the bidet. The hose has a 1/2 inch compression nut on one end that connects to the T-adapter and a 1/4 inch compression nut on the other end that connects to the bidet inlet. This hose also includes a wing nut, which makes hand tightening the connection much easier. The final steps are to turn the water back on by turning the valve counterclockwise, checking for leaks, and testing out the bidet. And that's good, we have no leaks. Let's get this tank filled back up and give the bidet a test run. To test it out, I'm going to add some saran wrap. Obviously this isn't a step you're going to need to do, but it will allow us to see how it works on this video. As you can tell, this pressure setting will be key. It'll vary person to person on which is best for them, but it is nice to see it's got a Taco Bell setting that could peel the paint off a Formula One vehicle. In the end, I think this is a good purchase. While these aren't super popular in the US, if you've ever used one, it'll make you wonder why. Seems like every tool should come standard with them, and I am a fan.